Well, let's talk more about the humanitarian disaster that has unfolded in Gaza. Let's speak now to Sam Rose, the Senior Deputy Director of the United Nations Relief and Works Agency in Gaza. He joins me now live from Amman. Thank you very much for joining us here on the program, Sam. I mean, the images we're seeing out of Gaza is utterly devastating. Even standing here, I'm about 3 miles away from Gaza at the moment. We can continue to hear the outgoing artillery and the devastation that it's causing there.
Absolutely. I mean, the pictures are devastating, the images are devastating, the testimonies are, and just watching it, I mean, your correspondent caught it very well, but it just sends a chill through my bones, through my head to hear this and just imagine what the people there have gone through since October the 7th and continue to go through. Every element of everyone's life is sadly just sheer misery. It really is difficult to comprehend the scale of what's been happening over the past 12 months.
Just talk us through the aid that is now getting into Gaza, because for a long time we were talking about the fact that, you know, there wasn't sufficient aid getting to the most needy and desperate. What is the situation on the ground now?
The situation now on the ground is as difficult as it's been since the conflict started. We had a couple of weeks when the conflict started in October when the borders were completely closed, but Gaza was able to survive on the supplies, on the food reserves, the medical reserves, the fuel reserves that it had. Those have all been depleted. Efforts to bring aid in were difficult, extremely difficult, arbitrary, onerous, problematic, but they were broadly doing, you know, we were quote unquote managing until May. And managing means, you know, a population that was on the verge of famine. Since then, the numbers have just have gone through the floor. We're barely able to bring anything in, and there are a few reasons for that. One is the military operation in Rafah, which choked off the main border crossing that we were all using, UN agencies, NGOs, charities, etc. That's been closed off since the military operation started to all intents and purposes, because getting to that crossing means passing through an active conflict zone, which is dangerous, difficult, time-consuming, etc. That's been coupled with a breakdown of governance, a breakdown of law and order, and a rise in criminality and looting. So the small amounts of aid that we have been able to get in, a lot of it is being stolen by gangs, by criminal elements that have just emerged to fill this vacuum that has taken hold after 12 months now, of what we're seeing on our screens. And we see this in all the humanitarian indicators, as your correspondent said.
Sam, you know, the Palestinian people rely heavily for aid and other needs from UNRWA. And there has been a lot of frustration, anger, outrage towards your organization, because every now and then throughout the course of the last year, the finger of blame has been pointed at UNRWA because there have been Hamas militants linked to the organization. Most recently, a Hamas leader that was killed in Lebanon. How do you respond to that?
We have taken all efforts and all measures that we can. Whenever any information comes to our attention, we're an aid agency, we're not an intelligence agency. We take immediate, harsh, strong action whenever any information comes to our attention regarding any of our staff, regarding any allegations. We share the details of all our personnel with the Israeli authorities on a biannual basis. We share the coordinates of all our buildings on a daily basis. We have 12,000 staff in Gaza, 30,000 staff across the region. And I can tell you without a shred of doubt that the situation that we're seeing in Gaza right now, that the whole world describes as a humanitarian catastrophe, would be far, far worse without the sterling efforts of thousands upon thousands of UNRWA staff working day in and day out, above and beyond the call of duty, simply doesn't do it justice. The 600,000 children who were vaccinated with polio, against polio last month, half of those children were vaccinated by UNRWA staff, by UNRWA health workers. And the same will be in the next round of vaccinations that's planned for later on this month. So the international community has a responsibility to meet the humanitarian needs of the population in Gaza, and UNRWA is the best instrument that we have at our disposal. As I said at the outset, we condemn all these allegations. We condemn all misuse of UNRWA facilities, UNRWA installations by all parties to the conflict, and time again, my Commissioner General has taken action and has called for an independent investigation to look into all of these allegations, and that's what we continue to call for today.
Sam Rose, thank you very much for joining us here on the programme.
Thank you.